In the bottom right, folks, in the blue, his name for Dragon Phoenix Gaming is Cure. And in the upper left in the red, reminding me that I need to go and fix every player image that I have to beat 1920 by 1080. It's NightMare. That's a bit unfortunate. So if you saw the intros, right? You saw like Cure is all there in his great big, hands raised pose, and then you get like a little sleeve of NightMare. Really, you don't get much because that picture is not 1920 by 1080, and I don't know of a good way to make sure that the image is always where I want it to be when they have different sizes and different aspect ratios. I just need to go and take a pass, and I probably can script this with Photoshop actually, and make a pass and make all of my pictures in my player images folder. Make sure that they're all 1920 by 1080, so they're all where they need to be, and they're all in the proper spot. By the way, it's important to point out, the MaxPax Dark game is still going on. MaxPax has built Tempests. He's a one-base Protoss against Dark, who's trying to get his third base now. Of course, he was proxy hatched. But MaxPax, as +1 air just about done, he's building Tempests. He's trying to get the number where he one-shots Queens. What a weird game. What a weird game on the other side of the bracket. We don't know much about this one, though. We're early days on Dragon Scales, which is... When I looked at this map pool and I was thinking, okay, well, this is a pretty good map for Zerg. Dragon Scales was the map that kind of made, oh, this feels pretty good. Third base, very wide open. I mean, it's a platform, sure, and maybe, but this tank siege position is pretty far away from the third base, and these are big ramps to run down. This third or fourth base is massively wide open. You can't, if you're a Protoss, you can't really wall this off. You certainly can't wall this off, not easily. And then there's this big fight. There's so many good spots in the middle of the map. That means that, well, it seems like it's going to be pretty damn good for the Zerg. And hey, everyone coming in from Hero Marine stream. I'm sorry you lost to Solar, but I'm so happy we had you playing in on EPT North America, not just Europe. So everyone from Hero Marine stream, thanks so much for joining. If you like what I do, hi. My name is Beowulf. I cap StarCraft on the B stream, sometimes on the main stream. And I also make some really cool production stuff. At least I think I do. You should check out my YouTube for more on that, or follow my Twitter. Regardless, though, first of all, do me a favor. Click on my name down below, or remove the referral equals raid tag from the URL. I'm getting pretty close to partner, and it actually does help. Twitch doesn't count raid views as partners, or in the partner application. So please do that, and you should drop a follow while you're here if you want to. Hopefully I provide good value. Hellion dives in the main base, and well, it gets a, maybe it gets another shot, but with the Adept and the Stalker here, it's not going to do much more than a scout. But look at this. It's 4-gate blink all in, proxying 2 gateways on the map. I really haven't seen this for quite a while, by the way. MaxPax in Dark is still going strong, but there are so many Queens, and there are not 5 Tempests just yet. What a weird game. That being said, NightMare and Cure is the game that we're paying attention to, and this is a pretty quick drop coming in from Cure, and he's not going to get a big scout. He may see that the Twilight is getting chronoed, but that's not the biggest of tells. Not really. It's like, okay, well, you just want to have blink at a pretty nice timing, but there's not a lot in the main. This main base is so big that it's actually kind of hard to cover. So Stalkers are going to show up. They're going to have blink soon enough, but not ready just yet. So 3 probes go down. NightMare loses mining for a time, and well, now you can just hide behind the mineral line. The second, what am I? Well, okay, there we go. What am I is now just going to run into the natural. That sounds like a lot of fun. Meanwhile, Stalkers in the main base, multitasking all over the place. Good splits coming in from NightMare right now. What am I unburrows though, tries to trace the probe. Reburrow once again. 3 Stalkers here, and Stalkers in the main base. There's a tank, there's a Raven, and you got to be careful here on the disable. But no, it's going to be auto turrets. Auto turrets, for sure, of course, nerfed. They have less HP, and by the way, Dark won that series. He's moving on to the semifinals to face Solar. Auto turrets are, they have less HP, they have less armor, they don't last as long. So choosing to drop the auto turret instead of, say, a disable and maybe killing the Warp Prism like that seems a bit suspect to me. But anyways, Warp Prism gets low, does not go down. And now that this drop has been at least neutered, not dealt with, but, at least managed in some extent. It's hiding back here. Stalkers are going to be able to defend that. we'll maybe see this pressure coming in from NightMare in earnest, but it seems as just because of how the pressure has come from Kira in this game already, that instead he's going to try to go for a third base, which, hey, that's what the Widowmine's for. It's going to be able to deny that one Warp Prism doesn't find its way in either. And this is proxy 4-gate. This is proxy 4-gate blink, and it has gotten nothing done. It's gotten, I don't know. Got 4 SCVs, that's about it. Really not the significant value that you're looking for if you are a fan of NightMare or if you're NightMare yourself. So let's see where he can go. He does have a Robo Bay on the way, adding in 2 additional gateways to go up to 6. So really just expanding macro at this point. But this map feels so big. And maybe that's actually going to be a saving grace of NightMare a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there are a lot of great siege positions for the Terran to be able to push through to, say, do a big gate push, something like that. And, well, that does mean that NightMare can get his third base up. That he can go greedy and get extended thermal lance and Colossus and Forge and all these wonderful things. But, well, Kira's on the map right now. Medevac, well, that will not get targeted. Widowmine takes a little bit of damage. And this is the timing that we're all kind of used to, right? +1 stim, combat shield. Let me add my second account to create a +1 stim, combat shields, concussive shells, all those wonderful things. And because this was a Blink Stalker opener that really didn't get much done, the Raven's going to have a field day. We're going to have at most 1 Colossus on the field for the first part of this push. And that now means that this Raven is just, the Colossus will probably not be able to fight. So big siege up on the high ground here. We're going to see a pylon knock down a gateway, a cyber core, and maybe even the Twilight. I think the Marauders have range for that one. So yeah, there we go. This means no charge, at least for quite a while. Tank has range on this one as well. So lots of tech now going down as a drop on the right side. Observer does not see it. And here we go. Here Marine, well, not here Marine, I'm sorry. Cure drops in the main base and messes up his medevac positioning just a little bit. So army on the low ground, but there's still enough to stim into the main base where there are really rather few pylons. So bio stims in. A couple probes will fall. Any multi-prong elsewhere? Looks like the answer is no. And stims on top of the Colossus, but War Prism is going to be there to keep it alive. Stalkers blink on top of the medevac, but do not kill it off. And now, here we go. Double drop into the third base. The second hammer. The hammer, I guess, and the nail of Kira's pressure. Zealots get warped in, but they're going to go down pretty much immediately. Great Widow Mines. And, well, there's no charge, so the Zealots don't do much of anything anyways. Colossus is brought to join the fray. Thank you, Colossus drops. But already, this is 8 probes going down. I think it was, well, it was actually only 8 probes, despite everything. But that was 8 probes, that was a bunch of zealots, that was a lot of pressure, and now Kira's at 160 supply. Kira's really doing what we saw him do to Creator as well, just really massively pull ahead. Make these multi-prongs happen, deny 4th bases. Really, that's what it is, denying the 4th base of the Protoss. And, well, in this game, the big deal is that there is not a Twilight. It was killed. I mean, it existed, but there's no charge. The big tech that you want to be able to get on top of tanks, to really buffer for your Colossus and your disruptors and things like that, that allow you to go and, well, actually make this fight. Now you got to fight with slow zealots. That's not going to happen. You got to fight with Blink Stalkers, which are just paper here. Yeah, they can dodge some Widow Mines, but not much more than that. And this pressure coming in from Cure, it's just getting bigger and bigger on the left side. The question is only, when does he choose to trigger it? It's got to be 60 supply. Problem is, though, only 2 medevacs, so he can't really drop it in the main. It's going to take a while if he wants to move that one forward. So that's a little bit awkward. And more Colossus are on the way from NightMare, going up to 4 here, which, I mean, if you can't get zealots, I like it. And if there are not any Vikings on the field, I mean, I guess it's okay. Raven only had so much. In fact, it's going to drop the armor shredder missile here, and or the anti-armor missile. That's something. But 1 Colossus will get disabled on top of having 2 less armor. But even still, the army does run forwards. 2 Colossus here. The tank will fall. Colossus stays alive. And yeah, this kind of gets broken. But this big pressure on the right side, actually, with the Colossus here, NightMare holds on. Game's still maybe not the best for him, but it's starting to get a little bit better. Cure doesn't really have the best tech to deal with this Colossus play right now. He's starting to add more Marauders, and maybe eventually we'll move into Vikings, but, well, his medevac count's been lacking for just a little bit. So he's not really getting into the Viking counts as well as he would like. But oh no, the random Widow Mines. They're going to get so many Stalkers. And now, well, you got to run through a valley of death to find your way to defend this pressure from Cure on the right side. And we still have that army on the left side that has kind of not been doing all that much, but dropping the main base, forcing a recall. And hey, you know what this unlocks? Kind of everything, because now there's no recall. Now this big army on the right side can maybe stim on top of the third base, finish what it started. Maybe the army on the left, which continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And Kier will lose this army on the right side, or at least not get too much damage done with it. It's kind of funny. I'm looking at this game and I'm like, wow, this feels like this is such a dominant game from Cure, and the supply tells us that it is. But Dragon Scales is such a damn big map that getting your army across is not easy. So, well, massive drop into the main base. Cure's been setting this up for really the last 5 minutes. So he's going to get the Nexus. Shades of Pult right there as the Nexus sniper. He gets some of his medevacs feedback, but their job is to allow him to move around. Not even to heal necessarily, although that is nice. Widow Mines get a lot of the Zealots. And eventually this army probably has to run away, and there we go. But it's killed all the anti-air, although, well, hey, Archon gets that one. But NightMare loses a Nexus, and he's opted to take this Nexus? Of all the Nexi to take, he takes probably the most exposed position on the entire map. But I guess theoretically, if Cure doesn't scout it, maybe that's going to be worth something. This feels like it's going to be a dead base pretty soon. And yeah, Cure beelines for it, realizes just how powerful this is going to be. Meanwhile, of course, Cure, the massive drop outside of the main base. We're going to see it's going to be a question to see when he unlocks that one. But for right now, this fourth base is dead. NightMare goes back down onto 2 Nexi. He just cannot respawn in time. It is so far away from the third. It is so wide open. Tanks can make this siege happen. Although this is a nice bit of a collapse here. Archons get on top of the medevacs. One medevac will fall. Second one getting very low. It goes down. So, hey, Cure loses half of his drop, but now Cure runs through the front with a bunch of ghosts, which are technically better at this stage of the game. Well, no, 13 minutes. They're technically worse. Regardless, there's still a decent amount of them. They're still powerful units. Disruptors they're going to get something. But now Cure holds this ramp. EMPs blanket the army. Disruptor shots are, again, going to be nice. He's trying to find his way up the ramp. But into the main base he goes, and he's going to have to give this position up eventually, but this is a 2-base Protoss. Any trade that NightMare takes at this point, unless he kills the entire army of Cure, it's just not going to be cost effective. I gotta give NightMare credit, though. For the game being as it is, as crazy as as far behind as NightMare has felt over the last 14 minutes, the fact that he is, briefly he was ahead in army supply. The fact that he's even in this game right now is kind of impressive. But living in a game does not thrive in a game. There we go. Bit of an anticlimactic GG, but Cure, he takes game number 1. In the bottom right, folks, in the blue, up a game in the series of relentless multi-prongs and some rather powerful pushes, it's Cure. Of course, his opponent in the upper left in the red. His proxy 4-gate did not work. Let's see if it happens this time. It's NightMare. What does Legulak have to say? 90-10, Cure win. 2-0. That's my guess. 92-7. NightMare has won 1 series against Cure overall. Ugh. NightMare's TVP form is like below 50%, below 40% even. That's kind of crazy, actually. That's not what you expect. So anyways, where did we go in this game number 2? The proxy 4-gate idea was fun. You go across the map, you proxy some gateways, the Terran doesn't scout it, but the pressure from Cure between the drop and the Widow Mine drop meant that NightMare wasn't going to hit his timing as nicely as he would have liked, so he gave up, took a third base, and then Cure bippity-bappity bopped him. It was A lot of pressure from Cure from multiple angles. The drop got damaged. The Widowmines got damaged. The Widowmines denied a third base a little bit. It was just a little bit awkward overall. As the children would say, a little bit Akko Taco. The children don't say that anymore. I'm just being a boomer on the broadcast. Which, while it is good alliteration, is maybe not the best thing to do. But NightMare now steaming across the map here. I don't think the Adept gets here in time to delay the natural. Yeah, it's not going to get there, so it's going to be more for a scout than anything else. And oh, it gets into the main base. That's going to be pretty nice. Adept now. Well, please don't target the mule. It's almost dead. Of course, it does take 3 shots to kill an SCV. And, well, the workers, they kill a lot quicker than they did last time. So one SCV will fall down, but the Adept wiggles its way free because it's, well, it's covered in butter or other desired oily substance of choice. But, you know, if I'm an Adept and I am trying to not die, I prefer to cover myself in butter because that is the superior. Is that the superior? Nah, it's probably Vaseline. Or the thing that made everyone really giggle a little bit back in high school, which is on Amazon. You can buy a 50-gallon drum of lube for like I forget even how much it was, but you can do that. Oh no! NightMare thought he had it timed down properly. So really, if I'm an Adept and I'm trying to wiggle my way out of a sticky situation, I am going to dunk myself in a 50-gallon drum of lube, and that's how I make sure the SCVs don't surround me properly. But NightMare has, of course, gone for a bit of a different build in game number 2 than the game number 1. And, you know, he didn't proxy 2 gateways on the map. This was not proxy 4-gate blink, or I guess proxy 2 of the 4 gates blink. Anyway, close enough. Instead, it's gonna be Phoenix. That means that Cure has very little map control. And behind that, Templar or Twilight Council. It's gonna be Charge. Phoenix Charge has been a build that has been, you know, waxing and waning in popularity, I'd say, over the last 6 months. Well, really in the last year or so, but particularly from maybe July onwards, we've started to see Protoss players become more and more insistent that this is the way you want to play the game. What it does is it takes control out of, it takes a lot of agency out of the Terran's mid game. We saw, say, Ryung, for example, go and start to really lean into the 6-minute stim timings, things like that. So Protoss players, instead of opting into playing a defensive style where they can go and you know, they can go and do whatever they want, and you just got to be as defensive as possible and make sure you don't die. Instead, Protoss players have decided, okay, no, they're just going to be as aggressive as they're going to be more aggressive. You know, to hell with robo units and things like that. We're going to get Phoenix. We're going to get charge lots. And not even get our 3rd and 4th gas, and just build a lot of units, swallow up that first round of Terran pressure, and then from then, you know, kind of take whatever you want. Start to swallow up the map, expand in tech if you want, maybe Storm, maybe Colossus, whatever it is. As Phoenix, ooh, they're going to dive on top of the Raven, and that is absolutely worth doing. You lose the Phoenix for it, but the Raven, such a strong unit in the air, really, for this push. Although, as I say that, it's not like there's a robo. Excuse me. It's not like there's a robo or something where you want to go and you absolutely want to make sure that you knock that down because, well, it's just going to disable your Colossus. In this one, well, it's all about the gateway units. And is this... Okay, charge is done. Man, is he on blink first? Off the Phoenix plate, but no, it's charge is done. Blink is now on the way, and there's the robo going down. All right, by the way, Dark took game 1 over Solar. Looks like it was like Muta Wars back and forth. So, well, I don't know. NightMare's got a lot of zealots on the right side. He's just waiting for Cure to run across that, but he doesn't want to lose the Phoenix. One will go down. Second one, no, NightMare, no! That's not what you want, trading 1 Phoenix for a Raven. Okay, fine. We can accept this. Losing 3 more Phoenix for really minimal gain? No. Not what you're looking for in the absolute slightest. And that means that these Phoenix, their job it is to harass, to maybe lift up Marauders, to lift up Widowmines, to drag Widowmines on top of the army. Whatever the case. It's not all that great. But hey, Phoenix, you're going to find a medevac just a little bit. And Zealots run into the natural. But this is beautiful SimCity on the bunker. Although, as I say that, you know, maybe it's not. Because the SCVs can't really repair that one. It is going to force a recall. But the army has been forced back How many Zealots just died there? 8 Zealots, 800 minerals to force the army back. Maybe that's worth, but again, lacking the Phoenixes here, it makes this position a little bit more difficult. But if NightMare can flood down the ramp, or maybe take a position where he kills the Widow Mines first, as he's getting one of them, the rest of them are going to get lifted. But the Zealots are stuck in the back. They're stuck behind the stock as Phoenix continue to fall down, and it's just kind of a disaster of several minutes for NightMare in this game. It's just... I liked the opening, right? I like the build, but you can't lose your Phoenix like that. You can't get your Zealots stuck behind your Stalkers. There's pressure coming in from Cure right now. Up upgrades, up army supply with Widow Mines in tow. This is just, it's not going to work. Shield battery overcharge is not as good as it once was. 25% worse, in fact, on the overcharge. And it's down anyways. There's just so much army here, and we're not even seeing Cure flood across the map. He's building his third base. Whatever damage he gets done with this push is going to be enough to really win him the game. But even if he doesn't, third base halfway done, moving his way forward in that direction. Now more Stalkers get warped in, but it's a bunch of Marauders. They're doing what they can. They're fighting as hard as possible, but it's not going to work out. Maybe the Probes do better. Probes actually fight Marauders fairly well, but Widow Mines put the whole kibosh on that one. 12 Probes have gone down, and I guess NightMare, he holds, technically. But I mean, that is a hold very much in the technical sense. He's not dead yet. But he's not really alive either. So now, again, good force fields here. And with the Immortal, it is killing a lot of these Marauders, but Widow Mines go off. And Cure saves a lot of those Marauders on the front line. So even while the supplies are only 40 supply different, it's 75 army supply to 34. Although, again, two Immortals here. They're starting to do something. Shield battery overcharge has been popped. Once again, there's a random Marine in the medevac, and that should probably go down. But an Immortal has fallen, and really, that means this name is not quite as true as it once was. But it killed 10 probes. Something just killed 10 probes. So as often happens here, I mean, Cure is in a winning position in this game, but Terran pushes like this can often start to stall out a little bit, especially on maps where realistically the rally is pretty far. So Widow Mine drops, I guess that's what killed the 10 workers early on. Widow Mine drops to the main base, get a couple more. But again, these force fields, they're causing no end of consternation from Cure. I like what he's trying to do, just end the game, right? He's in a winning position, but his opponent every time has just barely enough to make sure that he's able to hold on. And actually, the lack of Marines is causing some problems. It's all Marauders, and Marauders don't fight Zealots all that well. They don't fight Immortals all that well. So, I mean, at least from that perspective, it's finding something. But the economy here of NightMare continues to get shattered, continues to lose more and more probes. Shield battery is now finally going down. The Immortal's dead as well. And as the Zealots warp in, it's going to have to be enough. I don't know that it is, as the Widow Mines, well, they shred the Zealots. And it's 3 Zealots that are going to try to save this game, and I don't even think that that's going to do it. There we go. NightMare caps the GG. It's a 2-0. Cure on a miracle run. Not a miracle run. An excellent run. And he is going to face the winner of Solar and Dark. By the way, Dark up 1-0 in that grand finals.